Welcome to Stop Dieting and Start Living podcast. I am your coach, Natalia Rodriguez, and I will be guiding you to get in the best shape of your life for the rest of your life by combining my coaching experience with the psychology behind the human eating behaviors and some simple brain science. Get ready to be coached by me. Hello guys. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope you're great. In this episode, I want you to learn about how the way you see food will help you to build your own diet, eliminate the feelings of guilt or fear of gaining weight, and stop sabotaging your weight loss plan. Our brain works better categorizing things like colors, house stuff, numbers. So foods in our brain also have a category. And usually, due to many external factors, we end up thinking about food as good or bad, or healthy or unhealthy. And that could be the key component that is actually stopping you to lose weight. But before we start, I want you to say thank you for being here. This podcast is made for you, to help you to get out of the diet culture. I lived there the last 15 years in that awful bubble that is possible to get out of it without giving up your dream body. Thank you for your emails and messages. Please keep them coming. I'm always welcome your ideas, comments, and suggestions. Email me at notfitforlife@gmail.com. So let's get started. Grab a coffee, tea, or your favorite drink. Why not a mojito? I won't judge. So sit and relax for the next couple of minutes while you get coached by me. So how do you look at food? If you think about it for a second, like perhaps you see it as good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. You see, when you mentally divide food as good or bad, this determines your eating habits and how it's showing up in your body. Examples of these are, if you see food as good or healthy, for example, you may relate these foods that you are allowed to eat unlimited, like low fat, low carb, salads, vegetables, proteins. And then bad or unhealthy are fattening foods like junk food, forbidden foods for you, like desserts, baked goods, candy, ice cream, fried stuff that you can have and you think you smell them and you instantly gain weight. And this is actually not the definition. This is just how you see them. You don't know where this comes from. Could be most probably from your childhood and what you see and read in our culture today. Perhaps your parents reward you with candy or ice cream, like dog training. In my life has always been like this. If there is a celebration, food was always at the table, and it wasn't properly steamed broccoli and chicken. It was always tasty desserts, lot of different foods filled with cream, oil, yummy stuff. But we will never go to celebrate with some simple meal. It always had to be with the foods we tend to avoid the most. And today, we also see advertisements for packaged foods and McDonald's, but not so much for asparagus, right? And also the price is reflected in this. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy a burger in McDonald's than some vegetables and fruits. So it has been hard to not get the idea of foods as good or bad. It is understandable that we see it that way. And it is confusing. That is why it always seems easier that someone tell us what to eat. That is why diets became so popular. But they don't really work long term. And we actually end up hating the good foods because of that. It gets hard to eat these foods more often. And we may struggle to choose the foods that make us feel better. Like, I know my body digests better fruits than gummy bears. But many years of my life, I spent eating gummy bears when I wanted something sweet. Because I used to see fruits as boring, for example. And when we eat healthy for too long, we don't have a peace of mind. And we may feel deprived or restricted. So it actually made it hard for us to make better choices in a consistent way. Another important thing to consider is when we categorize food like good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, that creates emotions on us that determines many times our mood, impacting also the way how we feel about ourselves. This is important, guys. And sometimes even impacting how our day goes and how the relationship with others Like, pay attention to this. I don't know if you ever noticed this. For example, when I was dieting, trying to lose weight, perhaps I ate an unexpected cake. And right after, my first thought was, oh, Natalia, I can't believe you ate that cake. I supposed to not do this. Now I have to start all over, because I used to believe that one cake will ruin my progress, which I can tell you now that's not true. But then I ate the cake and I had the feeling that I completely ruined my day, right? And my mood, without even realizing it, it was on the back of my head, okay? And then my day became a bit blue, and then I went home grumpy, tired, and even more stressed than needed, taking it with everyone around me. It was a little bit insane, because sometimes we get mad at things, but for another reason that we cannot even understand at the moment. So the way I was seeing food was impacting the way I was seeing myself. Like, I've been good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. I remember things like, when I ate a sandwich with mayonnaise, for example, with white bread, I used to think that I've been so bad. I said to myself, I've been so bad today. Or I couldn't help to have that donut, and now afterwards, I will feel guilty. And I will try to compensate it on the next meals, like eating something good. So this was the struggle, and it was like a game, But on the contrary, I don't know if you felt this before, but when I eat good foods, I will feel proud. Like, eating a salad instead of the burger. Yes, Natalia, you nail it. You feel good, in control, and strong. And then it feels like an obsession, like a game, really, where I was constantly losing life. So my point is, so you are not a bad person eating forbidden foods. And if you don't need them, you will feel deprived or restricted. That's not true. That's a lie from your brain and from the industry. Actually, that was a big one for me, knowing that the feeling of restriction was only in my head. It was just a limiting belief that is not true. So seeing the donut and deciding not to eat it was making me feel restricted. So if, for example, I don't start my day eating good foods, I will probably hate myself the whole day, and I will feel proud or peaceful. And that's not who we are. We are just connecting ourselves with the thought and feeling we have about food. This is huge. And this good or bad food segmentation was making us believe how we feel about ourselves. But there is a way that you can actually effortlessly say no to food without feeling bad or feeling restricted. Like when you say no, if a friend comes to ask you, hey, let's go for a coffee, and you automatically say, no, I'm busy, and you just move on with your day, right? You just simply prioritize your life's choices, and that make it easy, so you say yes or no to things because you have other stuff to do. The same should apply for food. So the way that I classify foods that actually has helped me to feel less obsessed and stressed about my food choices, and I actually post a lot in my Instagram about this, because by seeing food this way, I can focus more on what I really want and need to eat in every meal. When I really want something, I do this, and this is something that has helped me to have this balanced life without even thinking about it or stressing about it. And it is seeing food as helpful or not so helpful foods. This is something amazing that I found with another coach called Cookie Rosenblum. She is amazing, and I hope that I can bring her here to talk with you guys one day. And now, let's see. This trick of seeing foods as helpful or not so helpful has a trick. And it's because how you will categorize them. So you want to start thinking that helpful foods are the ones that gives you energy, are the ones that you can freely choose, and they are still delicious, and you will feel better physically. You won't have too much trouble stopping when you are having enough. Foods that you actually love, and hear this, foods that actually love you back. And then you want to think about the less helpful foods, like the ones that are not so supportive with your good health. They are strictly for pressure. You only will eat them for entertainment, and it won't be the main source of your nourishment. It is a special thing, a small percentage of your day just for fun. These guys takes away the labeling and the identification with those foods. Tell me, please, if this is not genius and amazing. Please give it a try to rewire your brain with these beliefs and tell me how it goes. Because you will still be in control with more occasional treats or not so helpful foods. You will feel good and in charge still, like when you were on a diet, and you will decide to eat more helpful foods most of the time, because at the end you will feel better with them. And your homework for this week is to start noticing when you eat how you think about that food and start to see it and labeling as helpful or not so helpful. And how you can put this into practice while you figure this out? Asking yourself every time you're going to eat, every time you're hungry, right? You're going to ask yourself, what do I want? How that will make me feel? How my previous meal made me feel? Am I feeling uncomfortable with my body right now? So ask yourself honestly, am I focusing on what I should eat instead of what I need? Are you following your hunger cues? We used to think if we eat only the right foods, we will be like a natural slim person. And that's why the industry, it was so powerful. When you eat, you should eat just enough for your body, right? I talk about this in my previous episodes. So you should eat just enough. And when you're hungry. But the industry, they create products that want you to eat them all the time. So they want you to be eating thousands of snacks. That's why Snickers advertisements, for example, like they want you to eat them all the time. Every time you feel a bit hungry, hey, you have your Snickers. Don't be hungry. So they make you feel scared of being hungry. And it's actually foods that you don't need. And hunger is a good thing. I will talk about this in another podcast. Hunger is the cue and the big tip for how you can lose weight. Because hunger is super powerful. So because the industry made us believe all these things, we categorize food like this way. So, and learning that, it will help us to eat more of the helpful foods and less of the not so helpful ones with peace of mind. Because at the end, guys, what you eat is also important. It counts, but it's just about the way you see it. You want control, you want percentage, you want menu plans. Every day, I have people asking me for menu plans. And I have to make a video about this and talk about this because remember, as natural, slim people don't follow meal plans. They only eat foods that make them feel great. That is why it's not so hard on them to make the right choices. This friend that you have that he can eat everything, I'm sure she can eat until the point of satisfaction and it's like, no, I'm done. And you're like, oh, are you not going to have this dessert? I will finish it, right? So that's the difference in the mindset. Eat mostly helpful foods. You will feel better. And if you eat more of the not so helpful foods, remember, those are created by companies that want you to buy more and more. So if you want to keep them, experiment how a few bites of those foods feels, and that perhaps you don't need more than a few bites. And here is how you can then design your own eating plan, your own diet. And let's talk about diet as the way you eat. Let's define it as the only one that works for you, that will be different from your kid or from your husband. So, because when you design your own eating plan, the less likely you will feel deprived and you will feel less bad or good. Plan your treats, for example. Experiment which foods you can eat just enough or which ones triggers you. Understand when and why do you have them. Make it very clear. Like, I want some cake. Okay, I will have perhaps a slice for lunch and perhaps the other half for dinner. Plan it. Make it like why you want it. Make it clear. Make it special. So in the moment you're going to have them, include them in your main meals. So, okay, like an example, if you want half a slice of cake for lunch, like your dessert, so eat less food from your lunch and include it in your portion. You know, make your whole portion, it will be everything. So you make a space in your belly for everything. No, you're not overeating. Remember, follow the hunger scale so you don't get too full. So as I posted some weeks ago, your stomach is the size of your fist. So make your meals around that. A portion that makes you feel comfortable full after you eat, including your beverage, main dish, dessert, and everything you want. But make it your portion. You are always in charge of what you do and what you decide you want in your life. Don't forget your homework. Question yourself every time you eat. It won't take you more than 2 minutes. I believe in you. You got this. We are in this together. Thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you here next week. If you like this episode, please leave a 5-star review. That will support my cause. That is to impact as many as you as possible. And if you definitely want to lose some weight and you are tired of dieting, restricting yourself, and feeling guilty after eating your favorite foods, I have every month a few spots open to work one-on-one with me. I can guide you and give you the confidence that you need to learn, practice, and keep your dream body forever. For more information, go to notfitforlife.com. You can find the link in the episode's notes. Have a great one. Lots of love. Your coach, Nat.